All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're tackling one of the most powerful and maybe one of the most misunderstood images in the entire Bible. We're talking about the eternal smoke of Babylon.
So there it is, Revelation 19, verse 3. You've got this huge Alleluia shout in heaven, and then, boom, this incredibly stark, dramatic image of smoke just rising forever and ever. I mean, it's a picture that has, both captivated and honestly terrified people for centuries.
So you have to ask, right? What are we actually looking at here? Is this a literal picture of endless, nonstop suffering? Or could there be something else going on? Maybe something a little deeper, hidden in the original language? Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to peel back some layers. Get past our modern translations and try to see what this verse looked and sounded like to the people who read it for the very first time.
Now, don't worry, this isn't going to be a Greek lesson, I promise. We're just looking for a couple of clues here. And believe it or not, the most important clue in this whole sentence, it's hiding in plain sight, right there in that very last phrase.
All right, so let's crack this code, the key that unlocks the meaning of this entire verse. Well, it all comes down to one single crucial Greek word and exactly how it's being used right here.
And here it is, our first big clue. The word is aion. Now, we almost always see this translated as ever or forever, but its root meaning, its fundamental idea, is actually an age or an era. So think less about just endless time and more about a specific, defined period, like an epic.
But here's where it gets really interesting. The text doesn't just say aeon one time. The whole phrase is eis tous aionas ton aionon. Literally, that translates to into the ages of the ages. Now, stacking words like that, that's a classic Greek way of dialing up the intensity. It's an idiom. It's not really about making time longer. It's about expressing something that is absolutely total, final, and permanent. The focus shifts from how long to how final.
So, okay, when you put those clues together, what do you get? Into the ages of the ages isn't describing a process that just goes on and on and on. No, it's describing a result that can never, ever be undone. And this points us to one single, really powerful concept. Eternal finality. That's the idea. And here's the absolute game changer. The smoke isn't a symbol of a fire that's still burning. It's the evidence of a fire that is already finished. It's a sign that something is completely, totally, and permanently over. So what does eternal finality actually look like? Well, it means the judgment is done. It's finished. The verdict is permanent. There's no coming back from it. There's no rebuilding whatever was torn down. The most important thing to get here is that the focus is all on the permanence of the outcome, not on some kind of endlessly continuing punishment. Okay, so that leads to the next big question, right? What is this old system that got judged? When Revelation uses the codename Babylon, what is it actually talking about? Well, in this context, it's pointing to something very, very specific.
You see, according to this view, Babylon isn't a physical city on a map. It's a symbol for the whole religious structure of the Old Covenant. We're talking about the temple, the priesthood, the animal sacrifices, the whole system of rituals that, over time, had become corrupted. And ultimately, it was the system that rejected the very Messiah it was supposed to be pointing to all along. And you can see this stark contrast, this total replacement. The old way had temple rituals. The new way has Jesus as the true temple. The old way had endless animal sacrifices. The new way has his one final sacrifice. A system built on works was completely replaced by grace through faith. It wasn't a minor tweak. It was a complete and total upgrade. And look, this isn't some new idea pulled out of thin air. The book of Hebrews says it so clearly. He takes away the first that he may establish the second. That smoke we see in Revelation, it's like the visual proof, the receipt for what happened at the cross. The first system is gone, cleared away forever, to make room for the second.
Here's a great way to think about it. Remember back in Genesis, when Sodom was destroyed? The next morning, Abraham looks out and sees smoke rising from the land. Now, was that smoke a sign that the city was still burning? No, it was the proof, the evidence that the destruction was finished. The smoke of Babylon is doing the exact same thing. It's not a live stream of the event. It's the permanent witness that the judgment is complete.
Okay, so let's bring this all the way back around to where we started, that Alleluia in heaven. Because with this understanding, the whole reason for the celebration changes, doesn't it? They're not cheering for endless torment. No way. They're celebrating a final, total, decisive victory.
So what are they celebrating? Well, it boils down to three huge things. First, that corrupt old system, it's gone, for good. Second, God's judgments are shown to be true and righteous. His justice is vindicated. And third, and this is the big one, salvation through Jesus is now set in stone, established permanently, with nothing left to challenge it. Now that is something to shout Alleluia about.
So in the end, that smoke rising for the ages of the ages is declaring the very same thing Jesus declared from the cross. It is finished. The debt's paid. The old system is judged and gone. The new has come, and it is here to stay forever.
And that really leaves us with a huge question to think about, doesn't it? If that smoke truly signifies the complete and eternal finality of the old system, what does it mean for us, right now, to really stop looking back and to live fully in the new one that was established in its place?